Good morning and welcome to BOTB HQ in Parsons Green, southwest London, where we're here this morning to judge our latest dream car competition, which ran from the 20th to the 26th of April 2020. And just before I hand over to Alex, once again, massive congratulations to the winner of the dream car competition last week, Özlem Mahmood, winning the incredible Mercedes CLA 35 AMG Plus, £20,000 in cash. Now, as we have been doing for the last few weeks, our judges will be joining a video conferencing call, so we all stay safe. And I'm now going to pass over to Alex from Onside Law, who will oversee the proceedings this morning.
Thanks, Christian. I'm Alex Evans from Onside Law, and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. I can confirm that all the competition data has been sent to the auditors, Wilkins Kennedy. I'm now going to ask the judges to introduce themselves. First up, Matt Cannon.
Good morning, my name is Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and active footballer.
Thanks, Matt. Please now use the secure link provided and share your screen. Please then select where you think the centre of the ball should be. Thanks, Matt. Please now justify your position.
There's three players in shot. There's three players in shot. The player in blue, I believe, is coming up to head the football. He's obviously in the air to me, his arms are up, and he's coming to pull his arms back to head the ball. And I think he's looking directly up and slightly to his left as we're looking at our right. There seems to be two other players behind. The player in the background is just looking at general play. He looks like he's quite a distance away. There's another player on the left-hand side of the picture. He's looking up, and I can see to his eyes, I think he's looking straight up towards the ball, and I've cross-referenced their eye lines and put the centre of the ball where my cross is. Thanks,
Matt. Please now click Submit. Next, Leo Donnellan.
Good morning, my name is Leo Donnellan. I'm an ex-professional football player, having been with Chelsea, Fulham and Leyton Orient. Yeah, there's three players in the shot. The player in red to the left is just on looking, even though he's got his arm out, he's not going to challenge for the ball. The player in blue, who's going to head this ball, if you look at his body language, his shoulders are up, his arms are out, and he's set to win this header. He's unchallenged, so there's nobody going to put him off. And if you just look at his eye line and his head is slightly tilted, very slightly to his right. So I've just put the cross very slightly to the right of his head as well. Obviously, he's going to use his forehead to head the ball. So looking at both players, their eye lines and his body shape, that's why I went for that position.
Next, it's Peter Georgie.
My name's Peter Georgia and I'm a futsal and football referee. We've got three players in the shot, one to the rear in red, and we've got one to the left in red, and we've got one which is more pronounced to the front, which is the one in blue. It looks like he's the one who's going to be favourite for the boys. It looks like he's the captain with the armband on his left hand, as you look at it right. It's coming into him, coming into the screen to him. He's on his way up, I believe. His arms are out, ready to head this ball. Quite interesting, the guy on my left-hand side, he's either one, pushing him, or he's just pushed him, or two, he's defending the player coming back into him. So that also interesting. He's very focused on the ball. The guy in the red on the left-hand side. Coming back to the guy who's receiving the ball, yes, he's maybe just about to head the ball, or he's headed the ball, not too sure. But you can see from his actual facial expressions that he's ready, or he has just headed the ball. So I've used his eye line and the eye line from the guy on the left-hand side, the red player. And where that intersection is between those two eye lines, that's where I put the centre of the ball.
Next up, it's Hugh Kilroy.
Morning, my name's Hugh Kilroy. I'm an active referee, mentor, tutor and observer. Yeah, so for me, there's two players in shot that I've used to make the judgment. This guy in the background that's kind of blurry, I haven't taken anything, so they think he's on looking. So two players in the foreground. The blue player for me is jumping. It looks like he's off the ground compared to the other player. And I think he's starting to elevate towards playing the ball. Not sure whether this player behind him has pushed him with his arm outstretched, or if he's kind of got his arm ready or fending him off or preparing to change to jump, because he's quite focused on the ball. So he may have pushed him and just put this guy off balance. It looks a funny position for this player in blue. So that the ball's dropping in. This player in red and black is looking closely at the ball, which I felt was above this guy's head, but in the foreground. And he's maybe just off balance, but still attempting to look at the ball. And I felt he was looking relatively straight up. So that's why I've placed it there.
Next up, it's Andy Braithwaite.
Good morning, Alex. My name's Andy Braithwaite. I'm a football referee, mentor and licensed observer. The main player in blue, I believe, is about to head the ball. Although his neck muscles aren't really taut as such, his hand, the gestures, when you're about to head something or you're in control of something, you find that your hands, etc., are in sort of strange positions, if you like. His fingers are taut. His eyes are quite fixed. I believe that he's looking almost directly above him, just slightly to the right. The player in red and black, the one furthest over to the left, I feel that he's literally just sort of fending the guy. I think he's not trying to head the ball at all or reach the ball. The guy's jumping just in front of him, so he's just literally trying to protect himself and fend him off. But I believe that he's looking reasonably steeply, although there's not too much whites under his eyes, if you see here, with the way that his head's tilted. The eyes are almost in a natural position. It's not as if his head's level flat and his eyes are looking upwards. So I believe that the angle of his head is giving me that line along here, and that's why I believe that the centre of the ball is where I've placed it here. I believe the man in blue is about to head it, and the guy in red is just looking directly at it.
Next up, it's Rafael Headland.
Good morning, my name is Rafael Headland. I am a qualified football referee, refereeing in the Howard Sunday Challenge and the Authority of Football Association. Okay, so initially I believe that this player in blue is jumping to challenge for the ball. I believe looking at his eyes, you can see that the ball is coming straight down towards him. This player here is also, well, he also wanted to challenge for the ball, but I think he's late getting off the ground. So he's now just looking in the direction of the ball just to see where it is and where it's going to land, and looking for any sort of flicks on or headers on the actual player in blue. So I'll put the ball here due to the position of the player in the blue. I think he's in the air, about to head the ball. I don't think he's at his peak yet because he's not that high up compared to this defender who's still standing on the floor. So yeah, I believe he's just rising to jump for the ball.
Judges, please now come to a panel decision. For your information, the larger white cross is the calculated average of the 6 individual selections.
Morning all. Let's
Morning.
Quite nicely packed today. I personally thought the player in blue was coming up to head the ball, and he was just about to pull his arms back and head the ball, and the player behind him on the left, as we're looking at it, is looking at the ball, and I think he's got his arm up, so I think the player in blue was coming in from the side to head it. I've gone slightly to the player's left as we're looking at it, because I just thought his body position looked to me like that's the way he was going to play it. But Leo, you're on the opposite side to me of this very narrow arc. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously he's going to head the ball. He's got a free header. So just looking at his body shape, I thought he was just very slightly sort of veering to his right. So sort of adjusting just a little bit to head the ball. So I thought the ball was maybe, and I'm talking very small margins here, just slightly to the left of his head or his eye line, or actually his right eye. So that's why I've gone there. But, you know, it's a free header. I think he's just adjusting himself, obviously, to head the ball. So that's why I went.
Yeah, because there seems to be three of us on one side, three on the other. Peter, you're on the right, and the lowest of us three on the right. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree that the guy in blue is heading the ball. Not too sure if he's headed it or just about to head it, but also with the guy on the right-hand side, I was in two minds. Has he already pushed the player, or is he just fending him off with the player coming back into him? But with the guy on the right-hand side, the guy in red, he's given us probably the best view or indication of where the ball is up in the air from the guy in blue. So I've gone slightly to, as you look at the picture, slightly to the right, as I think that the guy in blue, his eyes are focused a little bit more to, as you look at the picture, to the right. So that's where I've put the attention.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his eye line, or his eyes, magnifying those. Well, Rafael, you're on again in sort of roughly in line with Peter, but on the opposite side of this sort of little narrow track. What was your thinking?
So my thinking was very similar, really. I was looking at the player in blue to look at sort of the direction of the ball, see whether it was like side to the left, side to the right. I've got side to the left of the picture. And I believe looking at the player in red, when I drew his eye line, I thought that he was looking slightly more down than anything else. So that's pretty much the reason why I put my points there.
Okay. And Andy, you're at the top. You're sort of roughly in the middle of between Leo and myself, and slightly higher. What was your thoughts?
Again, the guy in blue, I feel that that he's probably about to swing his, as Leo said, he's about to head it. I think. Let's say the way that his body posture is, his arms, hands, etc. I feel that he's going to be swinging his head from right to left as a swinging head, as a swooping header. That's why he's, in my opinion, his head is in that sort of position. So he's coming in. But for me, the reason I've give it just slightly that bit of height is the guy to the left in red and black. I've taken a good look at him. His eyes are fixed, but the angle of his head just gives me the angle. Although like we're all pretty much similar there, I just feel that it's slightly in. And as you said, he's fending him off. I don't think he's there to head the ball. The guy in blue, he's just literally fending him off, but I feel he's got his eyes fixed firmly on the ball.
Yeah, and Hugh, you're in the middle of us, of all of us.
Yeah, I think the player in blue is the one who's going to play the ball. I wasn't too sure if the guy behind him with his arms stretched out had either just nudged him in the back, because it looks a slightly odd position that the player in blue is. It's not one arm out sideways and one arm close to him. So I wasn't sure if he'd got a little nudge or if that was him just sort of bending him off. But yeah, I definitely thought it still had a little distance for him to rise and meet the ball. So it wasn't that close to him yet. And I agree with what's been said. The player in red and black for me, his eyes are really clearly focused on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at his eyes, I mean, I think he was personally looking slightly higher with these two eyes. You can see a little bit of white under one of his eyes, or both of his eyes really, which is why I went slightly higher. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, personally, I agree with you, Matt. I think he's looking steeply, isn't he? And the player in blue, you know, he's still rising on his jump, so I just assume the ball is quite high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If I clear those lines, I just want to try something. If I, that's one direction up, and that's a second. I just thought that the second one for me personally didn't really meet with his eye line. But let me put those back in. Oop. I mean, are you all happy to take the average, or do you want to see what it's like with some people taken out?
I agree with you, Matt. The player in red, if you look at Rafael, I don't think the player in red is looking that low, personally, and maybe even Peter. Yeah, so maybe have a look with those two out.
So that obviously moves it into the middle of the four of us. But I mean, if Peter and Rafael think it's lower, I mean, have you had any more thoughts, guys? Peter, Rafael?
I still believe, looking at the guy in blue, his eyes, I do believe, are slightly to the right as you look at the picture.
Yeah.
It's not directly in front of him.
No, but I think what the point Hugh was making, and Leo and myself, is that the player in red is looking higher. It still may be that, well, I suppose it's our view that the ball is higher and above him. So, you know, the trajectory is fine. It's just the player in red would suggest to four of us that the ball is actually higher than it is. That's the point, I think.
I mean, I would be happy with the average of where that is.
Yeah. Okay.
With the average is where I think that takes in myself and Rafael, as well. And it's not as if we're miles away, or I think if you put the circle over us, I think we're almost within a cluster there.
Yeah. No. Fair point. No. It wasn't to take you out. It was just.
No. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I still think that. It's very difficult to see. The ball is coming into the screen. Yeah. And it's I still think it's in front of him.
Yeah, so it's the foreground which that makes the choices a little bit closer than they look on a flat plane. That's fine. Yeah. Rafael, any other thoughts from this player in red, just to confirm?
Yeah, so for me, I think the player in red, I hear what you're saying about you thinking that he's looking a little bit higher. However, I think the average out of the six of us looks pretty good. I just don't think he's looking as high still, if that makes sense. But I appreciate that he may not be looking as low as I've initially picked him.
Yeah, understand. Okay, so guys, if you're all happy, shall I select the average?
Sorry, Matt, can I just add in there? Although where I am, I believe that we are at that height, as Leo said, me, yourself and Leo. I do feel though that what Peter just said there, I think if we had a tad slightly to the right, because if you look at the line of yourself, Hugh and Peter, that's probably the only constant, almost straight line that we've got in all the different angles. So you three have obviously thought it's there. It's almost a straight line. So where we've got the central cross, just slightly to the right of that, I think would probably be the fairer thing, because, as I said, the three of you guys are literally in a line there.
I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, Matt. You could argue it the other way as well. The guy's left-hand side. So I think that the average is, I think a good average.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd be comfortable moving with all of us in our positions, moving the average slightly over, because it's not an average. It's just we're sort of guesstimating, and same as taking Rafael out or myself out. I think you either take someone out or we stick with the average. I mean, as it's been said, I mean, if we put the ball over the cross or the magnifier over the cross to create the ball, it does encompass all 6 of our choices. And I think without taking someone out, I think we should really stick with that average, which does work from a visual point if I leave that on there now.
I think it's a really valid point, Matt. I think, yeah, if you look at the average with the circle around it, it looks good, doesn't it? It looks like that player would head that ball. So I think it's good.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So all in agreement, we should select the average.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Thanks, judges. If you're all in agreement with the selection, Matt, please can you click submit? Thank you, judges. The selected coordinates are 1775610. These coordinates will now be passed to Wilkins Kennedy to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform best of the best. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.